Hey guys, Cameron here. Today we're going to talk about the lightest weight functional stove setup that I've ever seen. This is super lightweight. This is lighter than your BRS canister stove. It's lighter than other Esbit tray stoves. And what this is a stove system that uses Esbit fuel tabs and a tray that they sit in. The stove itself and the windscreen is made out of titanium foil. Super lightweight stuff. Everything you put together to get your water to boil, including your Esbit fuel tab and match, comes in at 2 ounces. So comparing that to like a BRS stove that comes in at 1 ounce, that's not even including your fuel canister and your pot and your match or lighter. So you're saving a ton of weight. This is extremely lightweight setup. I'm not taking credit for this. I didn't come up with this. I saw this online. You can search for briangreen.net. He has a whole blog post over it. It even has a way to make the stove, shows you the plans for it. Let me run through real quick. The materials you'll need for this setup I got from Titanium Goat. You can get the titanium foil from them. This pot right here I got from Zelf at Wood Gas Stoves. He also sells a Esbit tray style stove. It's not quite as light as this one. Anyway, so that is the main things you're going to need. Let's get into what this stove is. So I've told you that it is an Esbit style stove. Everything you need is inside of this Foster's pot, which is your pot for your water. And that's one thing I really like about the system is it fits in here. Got a lid to keep it all on here. This is your stove and your matches. I have a Esbit fuel tab. This is the fuel for this stove. You can pick these up. I think even like it's somewhere like Walmart, but definitely at any outdoor store, and they're pretty cheap. And this is the windscreen. It is made out of titanium foil. Titanium foil sheet that you'll get from Titanium Goat is about 20 bucks or cheaper, so 15 to 20 bucks, and that's for some really lightweight material. It's about the same as tin foil, but a lot more structural integrity, and it's really cool. And then, like I said, this is your pot, and I got this from Zelf at Wood Gas Stoves. I don't know if he sells these anymore. If not, you can make them yourself, find plans for them online, or there are a place or two online that still sells something like this. So let's get into the stove. This stove I made myself out of titanium foil. There's not a lot to it. It's very easy. That's why I can make it and not have to buy it. But this is what it looks like. It is just a little tray that I cut out with just a standard pair of scissors at home. You can cut right through titanium foil with scissors. And what it does is holds your Esbit fuel tab. This one's still in the pack, but you would take it out of this packaging, and it holds your fuel tab. And the neat trick to this is the way it's built. It has little sides, so it contains the tab. As it melts, the tab will turn into liquid, and it will contain that liquid and continue to burn everything. And that'll give you a longer burn time on your Esbit fuel tabs. There's a little bit more to this stove. Like I said, here's the windscreen that I made out of titanium foil. It's just cut, and then I punched holes in it. Let's see, that's upside down. So these are your air holes at the bottom. You can punch these out, which is your standard hole punch. And then up at the top, these holes here are holes that my tent stakes will go through. This setup does require you to use 2 of your tent stakes. So that's why I didn't include them in the weight of this stove system, because I'm going to bring them along anyway for my tent. These are the stakes that I use. These are the lightest weight ones from Z-Packs. They don't even weigh 0.2 of an ounce each. Both of them together are 0.35 ounces, and I'll show you exactly how that works. So this is my windscreen. It just folds around. I have a little channel on each end of the windscreen, and I'll slide those 2 channels together. Like I said, this is a super easy project. I made this myself, and if I can do it, you can definitely do it. So now you have these holes right here that your tent stakes will go through, and all you do is slide your tent stake through to the hole on the other side, and that is your pot support that your pot will sit on. So I have one through there, slide my second one through, and that's basically it. Your stove will obviously already be on the ground, and then your Foster's pot sits right in there on that, and your stove gets plenty of air through the vents, and the flame burns up right onto the stove, and the windscreen protects it from blowing out from the wind, and it's just a really cool little setup. The whole thing, like I said, is 2 ounces to be able to boil water, so I'll break it down real quick for you exactly how much each part weighs. So my pot with the lid is 3/4 of an ounce, and add my stove on top of there, comes in at 1/20 of an ounce. My windscreen, I'll throw over top of that. Let's see, that's almost 3/4 of an ounce, 0.75, so I'm up to 1.5 ounces, and I'll throw my fuel tab on there, and a match, and I just cut out a piece of the striking part of the matchbox. So all that together is right at 2 ounces, and that's what you'll need to be able to boil water. So like I said, I use these for my pot support, these stakes, and you can include them in the weight of it if you want. If you feel like that's cheating not to include them. I'm already counting these in my my tent setup, so I don't need to count them twice. That's why I didn't count them here. So something else you might possibly consider is using some sort of Cuban fiber sack to go over top of your stove and pot, or just a Ziploc bag. Anything will work. The reason for that is this is my pot that I normally use with my Esbit stove, and you can see how it's kind of black around the bottom. That is because when you burn Esbit tabs, they will let off a little bit of soot that'll get on your pot, and it kind of comes off, not really that bad, but if you're wanting to protect your backpack or whatever you're putting this inside of, you might want to put that inside of some sort of stuff sack that weighs about 1/10 of an ounce to 0.2 ounces, something like that. So anyway, I will take this outside and we'll set it up and I'll show you how it works.